What should parents do besides prayer and fasting when their adult children leave the faith?
Well, it depends on why they left the faith as to what they can do. For example, if adult children leave the faith because they never were raised in the faith and they don't know the faith, then it would be incumbent upon the adults, the parents, to learn the faith better and to try to educate even their grown children in the faith, if they're willing to listen. Now, sometimes it's not just a matter of them being ignorant of the faith. It's not just a matter of them being educated in the faith. Sometimes it takes more than that, because the world has lured them away. And perhaps they were raised in the faith and they knew their faith very well. But when they get out into the world, they find allurements there. People who they have romantic interests in, or just sheer money and power, whatever it is they're living for now, that will take them away from their faith too. And so in any case, parents need to not only pray for their children and try to set as good an example as they can for them, but they also need to sacrifice for them. Prayer is one thing, but as important as prayer is, we're asking God to grant a grace of conversion for someone we love. And that often takes sacrifice as well as prayer. And that means that when one prays, and prays for a grace, let's say for a conversion of an errant son or daughter, or even an errant parent, it is not infrequent that God sends a cross in answer to that prayer. And that cross is the, as it were, price of that grace. It's almost as though God says, all right, you besought me for this, and you're serious about it. You're persevering in prayer for this, but this is going to require a sacrifice on your part. And so I'm asking you to carry this cross for me, precisely for the grace of conversion of your son or your daughter. So it's at some point, people who are praying and they don't see the progress of their prayers, they don't see the son or the daughter coming around, they can get discouraged. But if in praying and they don't see any positive effects of their prayers, on top of it, they receive some other cross, some hardship. Sometimes they react very negatively, like, well, I prayed for this and look what you gave me instead. This hardship, this cross, this adversity, this disappointment, whatever it is. And they don't connect the fact that they received this cross as a result of their prayer, not in spite of their prayer. But God was answering their prayers by sending them the cross that was necessary to obtain the grace for their son or their daughter's conversion. And it's a shame that many of them at that point give up and turn back, just when they're on the verge of success. As important it is that they set an outward good example and provide the external graces of their good example and their encouragement and their expressing their faith and their hope and their charity to their loved ones. There's often a sacrifice that has to be made, and they have to be willing to, from the outset, they have to realize, okay, I'm praying for this, and this is going to require more than simple prayer. It's going to require that I carry a cross for our Lord, and I embrace that now. I accept that in advance, and I'm asking God to send me the crosses that are necessary for the conversion of my child, so that when it comes, that they'll recognize it and embrace it and realize that God is indeed hearing their prayers.